Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to increase my Netgalley score. So this is going to be a reading vlog that I do a few times this year to see if I can reach 70% in my Netgalley score. For the longest time, I have always been at that 41 to 43% mark. Since I've started Netgalley, my numbers have been in the trenches, and I am trying to rise above. I'm trying to make sure that I can continue to get the arcs that I want without being denied because of my low rating. Now, there is a lot of other factors that go into it, right? They only have so many arcs that they can give out. They are intending it for certain audience members, so on and so forth. But I don't want to be the thing that stops me from getting arcs because I'm not reading them enough times. So what I plan to do with this video and some of the other ones that I release in 2025 is go through and read down my TBR shelves in my Netgalley. Regardless of whether or not they're old releases or they're upcoming releases, I am going to dedicate myself in 2025 to seeing if I can reach 70%. I've been filming this since probably early fall all the way up into now it being winter. So you're going to see me in different clothing apparel that indicate the seasons. One, you're going to see me at the end of summer. Then you're going to see me walking the dog and it's fall. And now I am in a crew neck. It's wintertime, baby. It's time to wrap up this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I read. I am currently reading Kay Shanae's Desire, which is the fourth in the Arranged Heart series. The Arranged Heart series is a 6-book series of all arranged marriages written by different authors, and I currently am loving Desire. This one has a single dad trope. It is a political romance in which our male main character, who is voiced by Chance Motor, and I believe this may be my first Chance Motor book, and I'm loving his narration as well as Aria Addison's narration. This is my first from her. So all around, this is all a first for me because I've never read Kay Shanae, but she is hilarious. And so what she's done in this is she's had our male main character, Azrael. He is looking to find a wife because he is running for his second term as mayor. And his political strategist is like, hey, you need to be married. A lot of the comments are, you're not going to get reelected because of this. And this is very, very similar to The Last Minute First Lady by Tania Montfort, in the fact that it all plays into what I have always believed, that in order to be a politician in America, you need to have a wife and kids. Like, that is the American dream for what we're supposed to be able to want and strive to, and really people can't trust politicians without having that family aspect about themselves. Not necessarily saying that I subscribe to that, but I believe that's what a lot of Americans believe, which is very unfortunate because there are a lot of people like myself who don't have kids, who don't have a spouse, but are doing the best that we can, and sometimes it's not in our wheelhouse. But I'm not even going to get in my soapbox there. I will say I like this because in this one particular, Aziel knew our female main character, whose name is Desire. He knew her because he was her daughter's kindergarten or preschool teacher, and he's always been physically attracted to her and always seen this as the person that he could never obtain. He has always tried to ask her out, but she's always turned him down, and this is the perfect chance that he is able to take their relationship to the next step because it was set up by Arranged Hearts. And I'm loving the fact that their family, while possibly a little bit skeptical, original, have fully embraced that their children are going through this arranged marriage, but they're still giving them, sass throughout the entire process. I love that Kay Shanae put these people with that good family background that also has religious ties. Like the way that Aziel decided to write to her parents without ever meeting them, saying, hey, it wouldn't be right for me to start my marriage without this. And the way that she used her vows to really say, what her commitment was really a nice, touching moment. Also, like I said, their family dynamics is hilarious to boot. I can very much see how well their family is going to assimilate with one another, and how this is just going to be a healthy romance. What is interesting, and I think the prediction for me, is that someone is a little bit messy, and there's obviously got to be some outside drama, and the person that I suspect is at play in terms of going to be the third act conflict is the person that really thought that they were going to get Aziel to be their partner, but haha, joke's on you. So we'll keep reading to see if my predictions are correct. I love that this is a insta love that I can get behind, because we are able to see that they had a little bit of interaction and very much attraction to one another. Hey y'all, I am coming in to do another check-in on Kayshane's Desire, and I know y'all are like, shouldn't you be done? Like, why are we checking in again? Kayshané just really did something that like threw me for a loop, and I was not ready, and there was no way that I could have saw this coming, like, because the plot twist that just occurred really threw me off. And I had an idea of what I would rate this book, and now after finding that out, I don't really know where to sit, because we found out that Aziel did something that I think, in my personal opinion, was a little foul. Not to our female main character. We're talking about to the mother of his child, Iris, in the past, and it's just coming out now. And I can see why he didn't tell his wife about this. Now, the thought is thought-provoking, because this is really a conversation we should be having as a community. As a community, we should really be having the conversation that what happens when a man wants a child and he is with a woman who is currently pregnant and she doesn't want the child. What is that discussion like? What rights do the father have? Is there something that should be done in this situation? Because again, this is a life that we're talking about. Most times when we're having the discussion from the woman's point of view. A woman wants the child, a man doesn't want any parts. She winds up having the child, raising the child on her own, and then she is left to be the person that has to be responsible for discussing where the other half of the parentage is, right? Like, and having that discussion. And usually that is the easier topic for a lot of us to discuss, because the woman is the one that's carrying said baby. But this situation is really where it's a lot of discourse that we're missing and that we should be discussing, because I will say that there are times where this is very much the situation that men want their child. They have had desires or dreams about being a father, raising their kids, seeing their lineage, and they are with a woman who is not suited to have a child or doesn't want to settle down, whatever the case may be. What are their options do they have in front of them? Now, that is what I will say in this situation. Aziel truly felt like he didn't have any other option, and I'm sitting here thinking about what other possibilities he could have had other than the route that he chose to take, which I'm not a fan of. And so for that, I understand he did what he thought that he needed to do to be able to have a child. It was just the way that he went about it rubbed me the wrong way. And so I am sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, how would I handle this situation if I was Desire finding out this piece of information? And I don't have an answer. And I'm glad that she is the one that's responsible for having this, because I can't figure it out. All right, I realized that it's been months since I last talked to you all about Desire. I am now moved on to another book within the Arranged Heart series. So let me come in and wrap up Kayshané's book before I start talking about Passion by Monica Walters. When it comes to Desire, I liked 80% of the book. The beginning portion of the relationship between Desire and Aziel was simple. It was easy. It was effortless. They just bonded and connected and established that comfort and familiar unit. Where it really started to deteriorate in the book for me was when I found out Aziel's secrets. Granted, again, it provided for a really interesting discourse, which I can say in this series, I'm seeing that is a trend of me listening and hearing things from a male perspective that actually is sound and solid. However, it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with each one. In this situation, like I said, I didn't agree with what he did. And I felt like the author tried to justify his action by making the mother of his children crazy. And that was one of the things that really did turn me off at the end of the book, was that I didn't feel like she needed to write Tammy in the way that she wrote her with that bathroom scene. It really felt like you were giving Aziel a pass, or that you were saying, oh, it was justified because she had postpartum, she didn't want the child, and this is the product of that. No, if you wrote it the way that he did what he did, and he was justified within his means, and that his wife accepted that, you could have left it at that. It was a lot of drama and chaos at the end that I just felt like the story didn't need. And that kind of soured the taste of my mouth for me. Because again, there's conversations. Some women do not want kids, but they want the man. And that's a lot of the reason why they wind up having the kid, right? They think that they're going to be able to keep the person. And so to write her as though she was crazy was, a little bit too far for me. But that's just my personal opinion. All right, you all. So I am reading Passion by, come on, Chloe, by Monica Walters for my Netgalley come up video. And I'm loving it, guys. This is one of the Arranged Heart series, which I had the whole series from Netgalley. And so I'm slowly chipping away at it. I took a break because the two that I had read weren't my favorites. But I think taking a break and coming back to it is working out so much better, because this one, I love it. I love that Giselle is going about life on her own terms. She wanted kids, so she said, hey, I'm gonna have a child with my best friend and we're gonna co-parent and it's gonna be fine. I want to get married. I'm gonna sign up for Arranged Hearts. I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can, and we're just going to go for it. Living on your own terms is very important because you only get one life. And that is a life lesson that you can learn at any age. Now, her fiance, what is his name? Her name is Giselle, and his name is... His name is Gentry. That's what it is. So Gentry, perfection. The gift that he gave her for the wedding presents, like all the things, knowing that she wouldn't have family there, all of the things that he purchased or brought for her, like stuff from his mom, stuff from his granny, things to match the collection, absolutely beautiful. Like, I cannot wait to see how this goes, and I'll let y'all know. So I'm only 53% of the way in through Passion, but I felt like I need to come in because this was a really good stopping point. As I mentioned, this series is very interesting when it comes to the men opinion, when it comes to children. So just as I mentioned with Kay Shanae, and the male main character deciding he wanted kids and what he would do to obtain them, in Passion, you have a main male character, or a side character rather, named Clayton. Clayton is the father of Giselle's kids. And one of the things that I am siding with Clayton on is the fact that you're not going to decide that you're going to be up and married to someone in a weekend and you think that my children are going to live under their roof. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. Like, that's the decision that you made. You're a grown woman. You can do what you want. However, my children, my 6-year-old daughter and my 2-year-old son, are not going to live under a house of a man's roof that I don't know. Like, you don't even know him, sweetheart. And you're making it seem like he is the bad guy. And you're also making it seem like it has to be more than that. No, you are upset because your life is now altered. Of course it's altered. You decided to marry a man that you didn't know. I'm not shaming you. But what I'm telling you is, do not make him seem like he's not being a good dad, that he hasn't did whatever you wanted to do in the first place. Like, you're like, oh, it's not right. I decided that I wanted to have kids with him and he was like, okay with it. You can't be upset that just because you brought it the situation that he decided to step up and be a father. Now, I don't know the entire situation. The author may spin the tides and be like, oh yeah, he really wants her and that's why he's holding out on the kids. But from where I'm sitting and how it's coming off, Clayton is in the right. Like, I don't know the man. I don't even know his last name, which is now your last name. And you think that my 6-year-old daughter is going to live with him. Yes, I understand the company that you went through had to do background checks. But baby, people lie. People can hide anything. Let your marriage settle good enough. Like, it's not that I told you couldn't see your kids because they're your children. It's not that I didn't say, oh, I want to get to know this man. I think that we could wait a second. Like, you decided to rush all the way in and you wanted to move in with him, and that is your right, that you are his wife. However, these are my kids. That's all I got to say. And the fact that her mama, who is a psychiatrist, was like, oh, what's Clayton's rationale? Like, he haven't known you to do anything unreasonable. Why would he start now? Because them his kids. You the granny. I understand you taking up for your daughter, but baby, this don't have nothing to do with you either. Now, while I'm already siding with men, I'm just going to go ahead and double down and talk about book 3 in the Vega family series. This one is Sleeping with a Frenemy. It is Natalie Kanya's latest release in that particular series. And the male main character in this is Leo. Leo Vega is someone that I'm protecting because I think I need justice for him. Now, in this book, he is having a rekindling with someone that he used to be in love with named Sophia. Now, the importance and significance of this is that you need to read the series in order because Sophia is the best friend of our female main character in book 1 named Camila. And you get to see Camila and Liam in this book. So you do need to read them in order. And the reason why I'm a little perturbed by our female main character, Sophia, is for a few reasons. One, I don't like that this is a miscommunication trope between her and her best friend. Sophia is upset with Camila because she found out that she believes that her life has gone awry, where Camila's life is now progressing, and she takes it out on her because Camila says she wasn't able to go overseas for a study abroad trip, and it really came out in the wash during the engagement for Liam and Camila. And she found out that Camila lied and said that she didn't get a scholarship. And so she is like, hey, you ruined my life because you didn't decide to go. I couldn't go. Now, what pisses me off is the fact that you don't seem to understand she decided not to go because her grandma was dying. It wasn't that she didn't want to go to Europe with you. It wasn't that she no longer saw fit to support you. She was dealing with something that changed and altered her life. And you are upset that you're just not that you're just now finding out. It's that you're just now finding out and you feel like you're upset that she is now happy, engaged, ready to be married, and that things have been going well in her life. and that you felt like you've had to struggle. So that was my first thing that I was like, girl, grow up. You went to Europe. You're there now and you're coming back and you're still pissy about it. That's my opinion. Also, what irritated me is that you're upset and talking about the secrets being kept, and you still ain't told your best friend that you've been sleeping with her brother since high school on and off. Pot me kettle. Also, doubling down on why I am protective of Leo. Leo has loved you, baby. Like, he loves you down bad, and he always wanted to be with you, and you was like, nah, I don't see it for us. And now, coming to find out, you're using the excuse of like, yeah, I didn't want to come back. It wasn't that I didn't want to come back with you. My mom told me that you had got shot and that I need to go support my dreams and I shouldn't be chasing after no man. Now, in my mind, it sounds like your mama is taking the things out that your father displayed in their relationship and using that to say, yeah, follow your dreams. Because I can follow my dreams as well as see if the person that I care about is good. So, like, I'm not here for Sophia, especially the way that she came in. She came in hot as a child. When she first met Leo, she was like, what, you've never seen a black woman before? Maybe comment down with the hostility. Like, you've been on Leo's neck since y'all met, and you're still giving him grief, and he's tried to love you through it every step of the way. So I hope in this book she's going to be able to grovel. I am riding with Natalie Kanya because she hasn't steered me wrong yet. I just know that this one is difficult, and I hate it because Sophia is Afro-Latina, right? Like, so she's giving black women vibes, Afro-Latina vibes, and this is the first time that I am starting to see this representation in this particular book, and it pains me because I don't want to dislike her. But the way that you came for Camila and Leo, and Liam is now having to check you, that made me mad. It's been months, guys. I'm ashamed to tell you that I completely forgot that I left y'all on a cliffhanger about my thoughts related to Sleeping with a Friend of Me and Passion. I got sidetracked. As a mood reader, I'm also a mood filmer. Like, I have to have the mood strike me to update these videos. But even though my hair has changed, my nail shape has changed, my thoughts on these books have not changed. So let's go ahead and update you on Sleeping with a Friend of Me first. I DNF'd this probably about 30%. So shortly after I gave you that last update, because Sophie just wasn't getting any better for me. Like, I personally feel like she remained a grump for the duration of the book. And I say that because I went to go skim the rest of the book as well as look at some reviews. And no one ever talked about her taking ownership or accountability for the dissolution of some of her relationships, right? When it comes to her relationship with Camila, when it comes to her relationship with Leo, there was always a part that she had to play in it, right? While I'm not saying that they were perfect, I want to say that she took certain things too far and that she never really owned up to, hey girl, you were jealous, or you decided that you didn't want to be with that man and you continued to push him away. And I think that's an important part when it comes to Grump Sunshines, or when it comes to navigating the breakups and why something may have happened. It's important to come to the table and be honest with yourself as well as the person that you are trying to have a resolution, a relationship with, as to what really took place and how you impacted the situation to where you all are. And I don't like it when someone sweeps it under the rugs or they do the victim blaming, right? Again, I did not finish the book, so I could be completely wrong, and she started to get better and work her way to, you know, really moving past their history. However, I didn't like the miscommunication. I didn't like the double standards, and I didn't like having to feel that Leo truly believe that he was the one that had to work towards the resolution on his end. Like, he had to go back and work with Papo, and he had to go work with her abuela to, you know, make her see that, yes, I am the guy, right? I feel like he had always been putting himself out there, and I don't want to have to read all the way through and then it'd be like, oh yeah, and she finally decided to give him a chance. No, thank you. Now, that doesn't mean I won't read from Natalie Kanya again. I really do love the Vega family. I really do think that Natalie does a great job of putting romantic comedy, right? Because the banter is there. The chemistry is there. The opportunity for Sophie and Leo to be great was there. I also love that Natalie does a really good job of layering in that comedic element with some more serious topics, with introducing history in the Latinx community, with making sure that she is responsible to give us the heaviness and, you know, balance it with that humor. I really enjoy Natalie Kanya. I just think that Sleeping with a Frenemy was not for me. And so we'll see if I pick up the 4th in the series whenever that comes out. Now, on the opposite, I really enjoyed Passion. Passion is probably so far my favorite in the Arranged Heart series. Now, I have to come back because one thing that Monica did that really blew me away, she made a liar out of me. Now, I'm not going to tell you that Clayton wasn't right when I was standing on his side. Like, I still believe that just because you think that you're ready to marry a man that you don't know, that does not mean that my kids is going to be sleeping at his house. I still stand with him on that. However, he was wrong as two left shoes, and baby, right is right and wrong is wrong. And Clayton, you're definitely in the wrong. As a matter of fact, where are the grandparents? Send the kids to the grandparents until all of the adults get their stuff together. I love that I have to come back and humble myself and to be like, hey, quick note, Clayton ain't worth 2 pennies to rub together either, so don't listen to me rant about him and being like, oh, he's the good guy, which I don't think I ever said. I never said that Clayton was the good guy. I just never got to see his dirt until it came out. And when it came out, it started spilling out of the closet in tenfold. Like, I was like, okay, let's talk about this in therapy. Like, we're all going to counseling, which I did like how she did it at the end. Monica really put in the work to say, okay, like, in order for us to work on all of these relationships, Gentry, you was ready to toe the line. Like, there was a line and you stepped your pinky right across it, but Shakira wasn't going. So let's talk about that. Giselle, you wasn't ready to let this man in, and he has been saying you're giving him everything and nothing at the same time. Like, you gave him your heart, but you wouldn't let him meet your kids. You said that you wanted to be in a relationship, but you want to be hyper independent. Let's talk about that. Like, for Clayton, it was one of those things like, we need to be in therapy for you, sir, because you are clearly not seeing where you're impacting your kids. Like, you don't think that they see and hear and understand what's going on, and then how you're trying to break them apart from their mama. You think that you're in the right, buddy? Let me tell you, you're not. So again, I really liked what Monica decided to do with this. It's probably my favorite in the series, and I think that the arrangement at the end, it all worked out. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I want you all to do me a favor. Tell me what your Netgalley score is and what you want it to be by the end of 2025. If you have a Netgalley account. If you don't, just leave me an animal emoji, because Gentry was a veterinarian and we want to show him some love for being a vet. With that being said, I am ending this video and I am currently sitting at 56%. So that is in part due to some of the books that I read in this video, as well as some additional books that I've read out of my Netgalley. Again, the goal is to be at 70% before the end of the year. So let's see if I can get there, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.